careful if you are ever selling something on Facebook Marketplace. Last year, I had bought a brand new couch on account that my dog had chewed the legs of my old one. It was still a good couch by all means, but we definitely needed a new one. I decided not to charge and put it on the marketplace for free. The only thing they had to do was come by and pick it up. The second I put it up, I got a message from a guy named Chuck. And Chuck was very interested in it and said he could come by that day with his truck and get it. Glad for it to be gone, I agreed and gave him my address. My 2 sons were at school at the time and it was just me at home. I felt better that way because you never really know who people are on Facebook these days. Chuck came over an hour later and inspected the couch. I showed him all the flaws and where my dog had chewed the legs. He said that was fine, and then we both loaded the couch into his truck. He thanked me and I said goodbye. That was it. 2 weeks go by at this point, and I suddenly got a Facebook message from Chuck. He said he didn't really like the couch anymore and wanted to return it. And I told him that I don't do returns, and plus, it was free. If he really didn't want it, either sell it or throw it away. We argued for a bit. He was being very unreasonable for something that was free, and then he finally stopped answering me. He just went cold. I figured he got the point and went on with my day. That same night, I was making my kids dinner. I was in the kitchen when my son called out to me. I came into the living room and my son was pointing out the window, saying that somebody was just looking inside. I looked out and saw no one, but I did see a truck parked at the end of the street. I opened my front door and saw Chuck getting into it and then driving off. I messaged him that night, asking what his deal was, but he continued to ignore me. The next night, me and all my kids are sleeping. I woke up around 1 in the morning to the smell of smoke. I ran around the whole house to see if the gas was on, or maybe a spark plug had ignited. Nothing. I opened my front door, and there was a small, but growing ever larger, fire burning at my steps. I could even smell kerosene. I quickly went inside and put the fire out with our extinguisher. Had I woken up maybe 10 minutes later, our whole house would have burned down, with me and my kids inside. And you guessed it, at the very end of my street, I saw Chuck in his truck watching me. At that point, I had no choice but to get the police involved. The arresting officer informed me that Chuck was booked with charges of arson and stalking, all because of a free couch that he didn't want anymore. So my warning is, please be very careful if you're selling anything on Facebook Marketplace. I will never have someone come and meet me at my house again. You can never be too careful when it comes to buying things off of Facebook Marketplace. A few months ago, I was vacationing at the beach when I dropped my phone in the ocean. I did all the tips and tricks like trying to put it in rice, but it didn't work. My phone was completely useless. So when I got home, I jumped on my laptop and started browsing Facebook Marketplace for a new one. There's always good deals to be found, and the best part is you can negotiate with the sellers. I found a decent iPhone for a good price. It was newer than my broken model and had more storage. I messaged the seller a pretty lowball offer, and to my surprise, he accepted it. No counter offer or anything. We plan to meet at the local police station. Anytime I meet up for stuff like this, the police station has always been the safest and best place to do it. I pull up to the station at the agreed time on a Friday at 8 p.m. at night. I had my cash ready and was sitting in the lot. 20 minutes passed and I didn't see anyone. I shot the seller a message saying that I'm here and waiting. And if you're wondering how I was texting, I just put my SIM card into an old Android phone that I had lying around. Another 10 minutes go by, and he finally responds. He said sorry, he can't make it tonight. How about tomorrow? Upset, but in dire need of a new phone, I agreed. I pulled out of the police station and noticed another car pull out at the exact same time that I did. I looked in the rearview and tried to get a better look, but the car had their high beams on. Was this the guy who was supposed to sell me the phone? If so, was this some kind of setup? These were my thoughts as I started driving back home. I kept looking back and would notice the car was following me for every turn. I was about to pull into my neighborhood, but instead pulled a U-turn. It was a random and sudden movement, and when the car behind me did the exact same thing, I knew that I was being followed. I made my way back to the police station. I pulled next to a bunch of the cop cars and figured this would be the safest place to be right now. As I parked, I watched that car drive by slowly and into the distance. I sat there for over an hour just to be sure that they were gone and the coast was clear. When I felt safe, I pulled back out onto the road and went home. When I locked all my doors and made sure no one followed me home, I went onto my laptop. I pulled up the Facebook Market listing, but I couldn't find it. It was no longer showing. That all but confirmed that the whole thing was some sort of setup. I'm so thankful I always meet up at the police station, because who knows what would have happened if I didn't. I ended up just going to the AT&T store and buying a new phone from them. Yeah, I paid more money, but at least I wasn't being stalked. There are some sketchy-ass people who exist in the world. Not too long ago, I was browsing on Facebook Marketplace for a PlayStation 4. My old one had died, and I did not have the money for a PS5 or a new one, so the Marketplace was where I went. I found a good one for a fair price from a guy who lived in the area. After exchanging a few messages, we agreed to meet at his place for pickup. When I got there, the house was pretty isolated from the rest of the neighborhood. It was nestled in between trees and wildlife. When I pulled into the driveway, I could see that no lights were on in the house, and it was getting very close to being nighttime. Then I saw a detached garage at the end of the driveway. It was open, and I could see into it. I instantly got hoarder vibes. The garage was so full of boxes, junk, and other garbage. It looked impossible to even step 1 foot into it. So I'm sitting in the driveway, and I message the seller that I'm here. He responds back and says, "Okay, good. Meet me in the garage." Thinking that he meant right outside the garage, I turned off my car and got out. A single floodlight turned on above the garage door. I called out hello into the messy garage, but I didn't see anyone. I got another message saying to go into the garage. I'm behind the boxes just getting the PS4 for you. I might have believed that if it weren't so quiet. Standing in the driveway, I heard no noise and no sign of someone just a few feet away inside the garage. Just then, I heard a noise. I turned around and saw someone quietly shutting the blinds in the house. I texted the seller one last time. "I'm out in the driveway, just come bring it to me." He responded back, "No, come into the garage now, stop asking questions." I didn't like the way this was going, and I felt like this whole thing was turning into a nightmare. Without a word, I jumped back into my car and just peeled out. I drove all the way home with the windows down to calm my nerves. As I pulled up to my house, I got a message from that seller. All it said was, "Smart move, bro," and then I was blocked. I know I dodged a major bullet that night. I thought about contacting the police, but didn't. Technically, nothing happened, even though if I did go into the garage, I'm sure something would have. Now if I ever buy something off Facebook Marketplace, I will only meet in public, never in private, and never at someone's house. Stay safe, you guys.